What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and another hero spotlight. Today we're going to take a look at the Nuclear Monk, the burst damage specialist that can burn down mobs, have a ton of fun with that double jump, and is a fun alternative for people who enjoy a ranged and a melee playstyle. Now, the Nuclear Monk is all about burst, like I said, and it's going to achieve this through various sources, and you are able to get effectiveness from this hero all the way up through the Chaos ranks. Now, with that being said, its true power definitely does not get unleashed until Chaos 7, and in Chaos 7 you are going to have just a lot of fun with this build. Now, first off, let's run through the shards. This is a hero damage, hero crit spec. So all of our stats are going to be hero damage, hero crit dominant. Of course, being a Chaos 7 player, hero health is definitely necessary. However, I do like getting those fat heals as well, so I do throw a little bit of ability power in the mix. However, the primary two are going to be hero damage and hero crit. Now, we're going to be able to do effective burst damage in two separate ways, and we will get to those in just a moment. Let's take a look at the shards. Now, as you see, I have only got a few shards socketed, and that is because there's only a few required shards to complete this build. Use what any shards you want in the weapon, does not matter. Whatever shards you use are going to be nice additions. I usually will go with something like, say, Concussive Chi, and then Overwhelm, and then just any random third shard. Life Leech might be good. Anything you want, really. No required shards in the weapon whatsoever, so use what you like. Same thing with the headpiece. No required shards at all. Use any shards you want. Just throw something in there that sounds good to you, or has an effect on any particular abilities that you like to use the most. In the chest piece, however, you are going to want Power Gambit. Now, Power Gambit is the Chaos 7 shard I was mentioning, and this shard definitely is when the pain really gets unleashed in this build, as Power Gambit is beast mode. In the chest piece, you're also going to want Heroic Power. Increases Heroic Waves hero damage boost by 40%. That's going to drop in Chaos 5. Now, one thing to be said about Heroic Power, it is currently a little bit buggy. So if you have any issues where your DPS drops, there's a good chance Heroic Power could be the culprit. So if you unequip it and then re-equip it, that should solve the problem. Now, in the gloves, you're going to want Critical Strike. That's definitely a required shard, as with any DPS hero, although I guess you could say it's not 100% required. But it's pretty darn nice, and it drops in Chaos 1, so you should have no shortage of Critical Strike shards laying around. And then I did go with Beacon of the Storm. Now, Beacon of the Storm has very, very little effectiveness. However, I always like to throw Beacon in any of my heroes that focus on hero damage. In the boots, kind of goes without saying, Speed Boost. It has nothing to do with this build. However, if you've got boots that you're not using Speed Boost in, you should really rethink it, because it's probably the best quality of life shard in the game, without a doubt. However, Crane Stance is going to be required. Each secondary attack increases the damage of the next primary attack by 90% and stacks up to 6 times. That equals 540%. That's beast. So you're basically increasing the damage of your next primary attack by 540%. So awesome. Now, once again, Crane Stance is a required shard where Speed Boost is not. And a lot of people have asked, if you see the little icon right under my nameplate, that is the Crane Stance shard. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to make it out in the video, but if you can, you see that little ×6 there. Now, what that ×6 means is I've got 6 charges of Crane Stance built up and ready to go. So basically, as you're running over to a pack of mobs or about to fight a boss, whatever you want to do, you want to be right-clicking on your way over, and that's going to get that crane stance charged up. Let me go ahead and just blow crane stance out. There we go. It never truly goes away. It always stays at one stack there. However, if you right-click, you see the stacks do build up very, very quick. Doesn't take much, and you will be good to go. Now, say this is our boss here. After you've got your 6 stacks of crane stance on your way over, you also want to pop your number 3 and get that heroic power shard into effect, and then just go whoop some butt. And you see 5 mil there. I've seen spikes as high as like 9 million and as low as probably 4 million. However, it's definitely extremely effective combination. Using your secondary to build up the charges, which that was about 10 times as many as I needed to. Hit the number 3 and go smash up the faces. So very powerful combination, allows you to really unleash some burst damage very quickly. Now another thing to note, I am actually using the worst weapon for this build, and there is a reason. If we look at the weapon here, I'm using a light weapon. This build is actually maximized versus a heavy weapon. However, I personally just really enjoy the fast swing speeds. I think it adds more fun for my playstyle, so I'm going to use the light weapon even though it's the wrong one. So I am getting up and over that 5 million DPS number using the incorrect weapon for the build. Now, there's a kicker. There's always a kicker. And the second aspect of the Nuclear Monk build that really allows you to burn down mobs like absolute crazy is your pet. Now, I personally am using Rock Throw. Rock Throw throws a rock dealing 2,500% earth damage and knockback to one enemy. Now, this scales off of your hero damage stat. So, 33,354 is my hero damage stat. 25 times that is what I'm going to be doing. But plus, it's being modified by Heroic Power, Power Gambit, and just my heroic wave in general. So when I pop my pet, I'm going to go ahead and boost, and it's going to do just under 23 million damage a whack every single time. Now this is considered crushing damage, so any mobs that take increased damage to crushing damage, or any frozen mobs that can be shattered, will instantly be killed. Now if 22 mil is not enough, or 23 mil is not enough to get the job done, it's probably a big old boss that's not susceptible to shatter anyway. However, it does affect all crushing damage. Now on that same note, I'm using this pet and the Rock Throw just because I like that ability the most. The most effective ability to use is actually going to be Ghetto Fireworks. I know I've got a Ghetto Fireworks in here somewhere. There we go. Fires a trio of fireworks dealing 915% magical hero damage each. Now it fires 3 projectiles doing 915% each. So that is actually what, 2745, 2,745% of your hero damage. So it's slightly more than the Rock Throw. Like I said, I use the Rock Throw because I like it, and I encourage you to use the pets you like the most as well when you play the game. Now, just amazing. As you can imagine, 23 mil is going to take a huge chunk off of most bosses in the game. That goes up over 25 million if you're using the Ghetto Fireworks. However, like I said, I use the Rock Throw just because I like it the best. But anyway, that will do it for now. Follow the basic DPS Hero Ascension Guide, as we're basically all concerned about crit chance, of course. The only other requirements are your first 20 points in the utility category, of course, goes to hero crit. Your first 20 points in the offense category is going to go to heroic boost damage. So make sure you get those squared away and get out there and have some fun, as you can just rack out the big numbers. We saw 16 million there for a second, combined with the pet. Now remember, even though it's 16 million DPS for just say 2 or 3 seconds, that's enough to take out anything in the game currently, so not too shabby there. Once again, thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of DD2, as there will always be lots more Dungeon Defenders 2 content coming. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.